G'day viewers. Today's Yolog's going to be shorter than the recent ones. I'm only covering two topics. One is the Westboro Baptist Church. I have gotten messages about them from time to time from people saying, hey, there's something you should get angry about. And what I've always said to the people is they're not worth it. They're a bunch of freaks who are really just after the attention, and I don't feel like giving it to them. If you haven't heard of the Westboro Baptist Church, because they call themselves a Baptist church, people think, oh, well, they're a church. They're basically a family. It's a slightly extended family with spouses, kids, a couple of generations, and a couple of hangers-on. I think it's like 70 people in total. And they do this insane shit where they do protests. Now, this doesn't sound insane by Christian church standards. They protest and say things about homosexuality being evil and whatnot. But what they do is, well, probably the most outrageous thing they do is picket the funerals of soldiers who were killed. And they say the reason they're being killed is God hates America because America's too soft on fags. And they'll hold signs up saying, God hates fags, God hates America, da-da. They alienate everyone, essentially. I have no idea what they think they're doing. Sometimes I think it's a really complex postmodern atheist prank to make religious people look bad, because I have no idea who they think would be swayed by their message. They're just mental. But I've ignored them. But there's a big service in Melbourne Sunday for a memorial for the victims of the bushfires here. It's being held in a tennis stadium, the Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, and the Westboro Baptist Church said they were going to come and picket that. Now, they were apparently going to do a world tour. The founder and his daughter were trying to go to England and they were blocked. They weren't given visas, told that we actually don't want you inciting the sort of hatred you incite here. Good on you, England, by the way. I have not heard if they've actually made it to Australia. It was reported in the media because it was on the Westboro website that they were going to do it. I'd be extremely surprised if they showed up, and if they tried to show up, I'd be extremely surprised if they'd be granted a visa, considering their sole mission is to cause trouble. Another thing, if they did come to Australia, if they did show up to picket the Bushfire Memorial, they would learn some very hard lessons about the difference between Australians and Americans. When I've read the stories of what they've done, I've always been amazed and wondered how they got away with it. If a relative of mine was killed serving in Iraq and someone protested at the funeral with signs saying God hates fags, God hates, or would be Australia in my case, they wouldn't walk away from it. I've been astonished how they've gotten away with it. If they show up, people are extremely touchy about this whole bushfire thing. The best they could hope for, and this is another lesson they'd learn about Australia, is they'd be arrested, and all the protests of free speech and whatnot wouldn't hold water because there's no legal basis for that in Australia. We don't have a constitution that guarantees the right to free speech. They would be arrested. I'm not sure what the law is called in Victoria, but all states here have laws where the cops can just arrest you if they think they're avoiding trouble by arresting you. I remember when the laws were introduced, I was in New South Wales. It was called the Summary Offences Act there. It's basically, coppers can go, yeah, you got a bit of a rude head on your shoulders. I think we'll put you away for the night. And it's usually just used to get people out of trouble where they actually don't want a serious incident to happen, and they don't want to have to drag it through courts. They usually just lock the person up for the night, then kick them out, because there's a law that says they can do that to maintain public order, basically. If the Westboro Baptist Church showed up, the best they could hope for would be to get arrested, because if they were there, no, I've heard too many people say it, they would have the fuck kicked out of them. They would get really, really, really badly beaten. Not the type of thing I'd advocate, certainly not the type of thing I'd join in, but people are pretty sort of pissed off. There's been all this vigilante talk about arsonists. All it would need would be someone being a dick like that to turn really violent really fast. They would get a very, very nasty shock. A lot of people, I've been getting so many messages in the last couple of days, phone calls and messages and whatnot. People have asked me if I'm going to go down. I'm not going to, because I don't think they'll be there. I've decided I've got better things to do with my time than worry about them. I don't think they're going to be there. If they do, it's going to have a very unpleasant end for them, which wouldn't be the worst thing that could happen now I think of it. They deserve a bit of a hard lesson as far as I'm concerned. But that's that. Westboro Baptist Church. Second topic, very quick. I made a video before this. I went through my DVD collection. Talked about I have a huge DVD collection that I don't watch. It's weird, I know. It took 18 minutes for me to just mention the titles of the DVDs and whether I'd watch them or not. If you want to watch an 18-minute video of me talking about my DVDs and giving you a little insight into my mind, tell me in comments. It seemed a bit long to me, so I'm not just throwing it up. I'm putting this shorter one up, and if people think that does sound too much, I won't put it up. I'll do some other stuff tomorrow. But if enough people say they want to hear me go on about my DVD collection for 18 minutes, I'll put that up tomorrow. That's today's Yolog. One way or another, I'll see you tomorrow.